Alright, y'all. What's good? Welcome back to another episode of Retro Bowl. Now, this is going to be my first time doing a post commentary video. And as you see, after the last video, we went 0-2, winning our game against Las Vegas and our other game of the regular season. As you see, the league standings are on the screen, and we are currently leading. The AFC West, the Chargers are leading, Pittsburgh is leading in the north, and Houston in the south, tied with Indianapolis. Looking over at the NFC, you see Washington and New York. The Giants, they're tied for first. Seattle and San Francisco are tied for first. New Orleans and Tampa Bay are tied for first. And Green Bay is in first in the north. Kind of strange though how there's a three-way tie, and looking back, week 3 will be facing Miami, Denver will be going against Buffalo, and Houston will go against New England, as those are the most relevant games as of now. Looking at the playoff picture, currently we are division leader. Looking back to the wild card though, you do see some other decent teams, and then in the hunt you see Jacksonville and etc. You can say the same thing for the NFC and their teams. Minnesota in the hunt. Another noticeable team is the New York Giants are in the hunt. Anyway, I want to note some stats about the last game, so I guess we'll look at them. Looking at our last game for quarterback Dakota Hager, he has thrown 265 yards on an average of 16.6, his longest throw being 454 yards. And looking at his rushing stats, I mean, he's a pocket passer QB. You're not going to expect that much. And then moving on to Marcus Nassib, doing great for his first season as a rookie. Running for only 51 yards, though, that does bring up a little bit of concern. Looking at his receiving yards, he's a running back, so obviously he's not going to get as many touches as our wide receiver. Speaking of wide receiver, let's look at Boswell's stats. He has 9 receptions last game for 214 yards with the average being 23.8. And well, the offensive lineman, kind of a boring stat when you look at both of them, combining for somewhere around 55 combined blocks the last game. Looking at our defensive lineman, Khalil Pringle, not much last game. And looking at our defensive back, Tyreek Elliott, 2 tackles, no interceptions, no sacks, and no forced fumbles. Then looking at our kicker, Titus Watkins. I still can't say his name right, but kicking stats aren't usually what I'm into, so we just want to skip that. We're going to get into this game going against Miami, and then our next game against Jacksonville. Now, as you see, they did update the game, giving us accessibility to the types of uniforms now. You can have the home uniform, away uniform, alt uniform, and rush uniform. Although the alternate and rush uniforms do look the same, still a little bit of a cool addition to add to the game. Anyway, we'll be getting straight into it in the first quarter of action. I'm not going to commentate that much on the defense, other than the basic stuff, as they get a touchdown there. We'll give it to our running back, Marcus Nassib, and he'll get a good gain of 10 yards. This game, he had a pretty decent game. This game, second down coming up, and we'll throw it over the middle to our wide receiver, Boswell. Right there, we try to get as far away as possible from the opposing defense and their defensive backs. We make one man miss, but get tackled down at the 1 or 2. getting only a gain of 64. And good lord, that was a great pass. We decide to hand it off on first and goal, and we get an easy 2-yard run in for the touchdown. We decide to go for one, but me being horrible at kicking field goals, of course, we miss it. Game is now 7-6. They get a pass and play, but it's incomplete. They go for a 52-yard field goal, and they actually do end up scoring it. But the weird thing is, they still only have 6 points, I believe, unless they had 3 points previously. Anyway, we'll get the ball back in our own half. We decide to give it back to Marcus again, but this time he disappoints us with a minor gain of 3 yards. 2nd down and 7. We decide to throw it over the middle, and it's caught for a big gain by Boswell, giving us 28 yards. And a big carry into the enemy territory. As we go for it on 1st and 10, we try to throw it to our no-name guy, but instead, well, Boswell is just too fast, and he gets to it a second earlier. 1st down and 10, and we run it in. Well, could have ran it in for a 15-yard field goal. We did already have a touchdown, and the plan for this drive was just to let him get as many yards as possible. That play, you see the pressure coming in. But this play, you also see the pressure come in, but he'll catch it by just the tip of his tippy toes, getting out of bounds. I don't know how that happened. Dakota Hager somehow doesn't get tackled, and we just throw a perfect touchdown. We go for 2 here, up for the missed field goal earlier, but it will fall incomplete. Miami gets the ball back on the 22. They decide to run it. Our defensive lineman was too slow, and they'll end up getting the touchdown and the 2-point conversion, which will put them behind by only 6. Actually, put them ahead by 6. 1st and 10, deep in our own territory. Well, not deep in our own territory, but back in our own territory. We get a decent throw for 8 we go for it on 2nd and 2. Do the smart thing and run the ball on the ground, getting only a gain of about 1 or 2. 4th and 3rd and inches. And what we do here, we throw the ball up. Had all day to throw. The initial target was missed, but we do end up getting the 1st down regardless. 1st and 10, once again, we run through them. But not for much. Only a gain of 4. 2nd and 6, we hand it off to the side. And we get a pretty great gain here of 12 yards before the second quarter ends. 46 seconds left to go. 1st and 10, we see a bunch of pressure come to the inside. So we decide to throw it over to the middle to our running back. He'll get a gain of 25, and we call a timeout with 33 left to go in the second quarter. Hand off to the back, and we just, that was a little bit nasty the way we hit him with that juke there. 2nd and 4, we decide to go for it on 2nd down. We try to go for a relatively short throw, but no one was really open, and they sent pressure. We decided to go for it on 3rd down with about 15 seconds left, and we get absolutely nowhere, only a gain of 1. Play 4th down or go for the field goal. This time I play it smart, go for the field goal, but it's no good as it doinks right off of the side. Thankfully, however, we do get the ball back in the second half. We decide to tell Dakota to just throw it to the short route. He was wide open. Boswell was right there, and he'll get a plentiful gain of 11. 1st down and 10. We'll go back in the pocket to throw this time, and we will throw it up, and it's caught by Boswell again. He had a great game, but catches another banger for 15 yards. That play, we get absolutely nowhere, getting only a gain of 1. 2nd and 9, 2:16 left to go. We're looking for Boswell on his right route. My fault, and he'll catch it for a gain of 19. Near the 2-minute warning, I guess you would call it, we decide to just get the ball to Nassib and let him run into the end zone for the touchdown. We decide to go for 2. trying to really give us a tiny advantage there as we throw it into the end zone. 2 yards for the completion and 2 points. Miami will ultimately end up getting the field goal. We get a bunch of pressure back, and that forces us to throw it short, but we will end up with a gain of 10, which was beautiful. First down and 10. We do not have all day to throw. We decided to throw it over the middle of Boswell. We tried to create something right there, but it just wasn't there. Third and inches, or second and inches. We'll run it, and we'll run it out for 5, getting it around their 41-yard line. So we decide to throw it over the middle again. Nassib catches it, and we get a good gain of 12. First and 10, and without thought, we just run the ball, and he just goes full out beast mode a little bit towards the beginning of that play, hitting one of them with a stiff arm. First and 10, in about field goal range, and we'll catch it for a gain of 9. 10 seconds left to go. We hurry up, line up. As it is second and inches, we go for the audible. I see that my boy is back there, but can't really hit him right now. There was a wide open guy to my right, but I decided to run it instead, and we ran it for 7 yards, getting it just up to their goal line. First down and goal, we decide to run this one in with Dakota Hager, and he will get the touchdown off of a QB sneak. 1 or 2 point conversion. We decide to go for 2 once again to try and really close that gap. However, we do get nowhere with Nassib as he gets tackled after only getting 1 yard on the play. Miami, they start to travel downfield and they get deep into our territory. The quarterback had thrown it, and well, they end up getting a touchdown. Can't lie, when I was recording this, I definitely did get nervous. We were in our half. We had the throw. I was waiting on the comeback route. It came. We start running, and we get a decent gain of 14. Bringing up first and 10 once again. Almost at our own 38. But we get sacked as we cannot evade the pressure. We call a timeout. We called an audible, and then we snapped the ball. Trying to throw it over the middle, trying to find somebody. But instead, the ball gets picked off, and that pretty much inevitably sealed our fate. Or at least it should have, as we luckily get the ball back, I believe, off of an interception. We caught it, and we went up for a gain of 2. Second and 8. We decide to try and throw it again. Clearly not learning our lesson from the first time. Very risky pass, and it's incomplete. Third down and 8. I'm really trying to find somebody here, and the no-name just gets a great play right there for 14. We call timeout as we're scared that the clock may run out. We decide to give it back to Nassib, who has been going off this entire game. He decides to hit him with a little bit of a hem and then run it up as we will get to first and 10 once again. Using that same little strategy, we'll get a gain of 9, and we are down at the 25. Do we go for a field goal? No. Second and 1. We decide to try and throw it, but instead we get sacked. Ultimately, we would end up not going for the field goal and trying to get our man to Moss, the receiver, but Dakota Hager just couldn't throw it over enough, and well, that pretty much sealed our fate right there. Dakota Hager did suffer that hip injury that game, and that pretty much prevented us from really doing anything great next game. Our defensive back had a great game. We chose to highlight the fans at the end of week 3. Nassib finished with 152 yards in total, second to Boswell with 172. We decided to upgrade Nassib's stamina, to update Kendall's stamina as well, to update Edmonds and his stamina, I believe, or his strength rather yet. And Tyreek Elliott, we just shows straight up, we just shows speed. That man needs to be fast for a corner. We take our first loss of the season, 29-26, as we move down a spot from our original placing. Dakota Hager that game did pretty well. Threw for 287. His average was 15.1 and his longest was 64 yards with one touchdown. But those two interceptions cost us the game. And that kind of sucked. As you see, he was on the bench. He's injured. Then we actually got a free agent offer, and well, I decided to decline it. Mainly because I don't want to bring any toxicness to this team, especially after losing our starting quarterback. Next game, we are going to start off against Jacksonville. We get the possession off the kickoff. We decide to throw it on the first play. However, I realized that's not Dakota Hager, so this probably isn't going to end that well if I do. We get a gain of 5 with the quarterback and decide to go to a heavy run approach for the rest of the game, letting Marcus really start to take over. On this 1st and 10 though, we do decide to throw it to our star receiver, Boswell. And on the 2nd down, we just use that same strategy and get a great gain of 11. I can definitely say that sort of saved us right there. We go for the pass to the side on 1st and 10, and we run it all the way down to their 17, 18-yard line just about. And we throw it on the comeback route to Boswell. We'll get a gain of 8 and we'll be down at the 10 for 2nd and 2. We decide to throw it over the middle again and it pays off as one of our players get a touchdown. This dude is no Dakota Hager, but he can definitely do some great stuff. We decide to go for the 2-point conversion to get Nassib into the end zone off of the completed pass. Now, we somehow end up getting the ball back, I believe, off of a punt. We throw it short to Boswell as we get a bunch of pressure back to us in the pocket. We decide to just let Boswell run all the way into the end zone for a 59-yard touchdown play. 1 and 2-point conversion. Obviously, we choose 2. Just because we're ahead like that, we throw it out to the side, and Nassib gets into the end zone again. However, the only 2 times that he has gotten into the end zone this game have been for 2-point completions. So, do we decide to let him get into the end zone this game, this possession, this drive? 1st down and 10 with 30 seconds left. We decide to throw the ball, and we throw it to Boswell. Boswell gets a great distance on his opponents, running it for 39 yards. However, he definitely could have had way more right there, but we decide that we want Marcus to get into the end zone. 1 second left, and well, we hand the ball off again. We're running, we are running, and we are running down the sideline, but only managed to get a gain of 14 and get it inside the 15. 2nd quarter coming up, we hand it off, and we only managed to get a gain of 5. Thought it was halftime for a second, but it wasn't. 2 minutes and 49 seconds left, and we try to run it again, only to be tackled a yard back. 3rd down and 6. We decide to do that same strategy as earlier, but only pick up 2 yards in the process. Play 4th down or go for field goal. We play 4th down because that's how we built around here. We throw it deep into the end zone, and it's caught by Boswell. And I have no idea how he caught it. He just throws it, bangs off their head, and he just grabs it. I don't know how. 1 or 2-point conversion. We go for 1 because we're just up like that. However, the kick is no good. They decide to get the ball deep down into our side of the field. They go for a pass over the middle, and they get a touchdown. They went for 2 points, and they scored, making the score now 8-22. We get the ball back, 1st down and 10. We decide to run the ball with our quarterback. Again, this guy's no Dakota Hanger, so he's not going to be throwing those super accurate passes. Second down and 6. We decide to throw it to the comeback route for Boswell, and Boswell gets the ball right down to the sidelines, and he gets a 31-yard gain all the way down to the 39 for first and 10. We decide to run the ball again, realizing that those two blockers will always plow through those people. We get a pretty good gain of, I believe, 16 as we get another first and 10. We do get tackled at the line of scrimmage, so there was no gain. Second and 10, we decide to run it again. And this time we only run it for 3 yards. Realizing that it's third and 7 with 16 seconds left in the second quarter, we decide to kick the field goal. And well, still miss. Still we managed to miss. We got an interception deep in their territory when it was their turn. My fault. I almost sneezed. We'll get a gain of 8 there in second and 2. Then another 4-yard gain. We throw it out to the tight end. He'll get a gain of 3. And then the second and 7. We decide to run it to the outside, only to go to the inside for a gain of 3. This will put us in a 3rd down and 4 situation, and we decide to put the ball to the ground again, but to no avail. Play 4th down or go for the field goal. We decide to play 4th down because that's how we built around here. We run it with the quarterback. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly on the mark. Getting us down to the 1-yard line. 1st and goal. And finally, Marcus Nassib gets his touchdown. But as I was saying earlier, we did manage to get that interception in their territory. We go for the 2-point conversion, and Marcus once again finds his way into the end zone off of a pass. We kicked it off. It was a passing play that they tried to drop. It was incomplete. Went for it on 4th down, and they managed to fumble the ball, pretty much putting them in a bad spot. 1st and 10 from their own 18, actually 24. And we got a 17-yard gain off of it, getting us down to the 6. 1st and goal. We throw it over the top, but it's incomplete as we try to hit our star wide receiver. One-on-one coverage this time, however, so it's an easy dot. And we have scored 5 touchdowns in this game between those two. Go for the field goal again, but it's no good. Our kicker has a cold foot today, and well, makes more sense if it was a wet foot, because that is wet turf. That has to be hard to kick on. Jacksonville decides to try and go for it on 4th down, only to fumble the ball and pretty much steal their fate. However, we also end up turning over the ball off of a fumble. What's this? Nassib, you were having such a great game, and then you decide to do this to us. Come on, man. We turn it over, 11-36. They decide to throw the ball. Pringle was too slow, and they'll get another touchdown, making the score 17-36. We get the ball back at midfield, and we decide to not put the ball in his hands right away. As we give the ball to Boswell, he will rush down that field. We stop and taunt a little bit for the 42-yard gain, giving us a 1st and goal opportunity. We run the ball again, and we just, that was nasty. We used that same strategy we used a few times earlier, get them to both miss, and then get into the end zone with Nassib, giving us a total of 42. 42-17, we decide to go for it, and well, it was an easy one to the end zone, as we hit up our main wide receiver Boswell. 17-44, we somehow intercept the ball on the 29, and that'll set up 1st and 10. We think of throwing it, but we see the pressure coming in to the right, and so we decide to run it. Again, literally the slowest guy in the league at quarterback, but hey, still manages to get 8 yards. Play 2nd down or go for a field goal. We go for a field goal with 19 seconds left. And finally, for the first time, we make a field goal, and that will be the longest field goal in team history, or, well, that season. The quarterback airs it out, but it's intercepted once again, and that'll give us a final score of 17-47, blowing them out by 30. Looking at the NFC East, Miami's still in first, and well, we're in second, putting us in the wild card round for now. We got a press interview, and well, they were saying that running back Marcus Nassib was on point. Who was I pleased with more? And I said the coaching. It was a heavy run. What you heard just then was my brother interrupting me. We decided to upgrade Ed Dawson's. Our staff coordinator gets upgraded, and that'll be it until next time. We will see y'all when we go against Cleveland in the next episode.